Alrighty, we are live from Columbus, OH, and this is answering your financial questions live. That's probably good on volume, I think. Kick it up just a little bit more. Alrighty, so I'm using new headset, fun times. It's fun when you go onto Amazon after not ordering for a while, and you want to get something. Like I needed to get these headphones, and turns out you have like $7 and something left on a gift card from there. That was still on the gift card waiting to be spent. Isn't that fun? I think so. Alrighty, I am Coach Steve Money. I'm a Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach. And if you, yes, you, are having money problems or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation / assessment with me at calendly.com/Coach Steve Money. No, not. I'm sorry. I used to use that website. Now my schedule changes too much. So I would have to keep changing it like almost every day. So just email me, coachstevemoney@gmail.com. And for my financial content, doing it wrong. All out of sorts today. Because I completely forgot that I was going to do this. At 8 p.m. is the normal time for this, but crazy. Lack of sleep is what I'm going to blame it on. Anyway, for my financial content, you just scroll past the Oak Island playlist and you'll see the Ramsey Show After Show playlist. And I should be able to do every day except for what is that on there? That's weird. I don't know what that is. Oh. Huh. I don't know. Oh, it shows I guess the video. All right. Previews the video. Okay. I'm all out of sorts, as I said. Ramsey Show After Show, 11:05 a.m. And I should be able to do that, I think, every day except Thursday, I believe. It's on the ticker below. All right. Oh, hopefully by the time we get into financial questions, I'll know what I'm talking about. And also the Answering Your Financial Questions playlist, and then the music playlist that has 12 Ramsey adjacent songs in there. Let's answer some questions, and then maybe I can sound like I know what I'm talking about. Entree leadership advice. Yeah, as usual. I think it works better because I have the ring light on the webcam light rather on me here, and so I think that's why it's easier to see without the glasses, because the glasses, I guess, do a glare or something. Anyway, entree leadership advice from who? That fireplace guy. Okay. Entree leadership advice for those of you that know about Dave's entree leadership principles. Okay. Principles. This is like the principle of a high school right there. A principle, like that's a credo, a motto, a standard of living. That would be PLES for principles. All right. This question is for you. Is it ever the right move to manage up, quotes, manage up, or lead and coach your boss in a business that you are just an employee in? If so, how long should you do this for? Thanks in advance. Well, it depends. If you are just trying to be helpful, because sometimes bosses do not know as much about the job as you do. A lot of times there's a situation where there's a person in house that would be the best person for the job, but ownership or upper management think they need to hire outside of the company. And then you're not good enough to do that job, but you are apparently good enough to train the person that's coming in cold off the street, and you can train them. Now, it may not be that kind of situation where higher management or owners want this person to be training the boss, but it could be a situation of the boss knows what he's doing, but you know some better ways that might help. And so at that point, you would just approach it like an employee to a boss, just be respectful and, say, I got some ideas on this, or this is how we used to do it. In my opinion, it was better that way, and be respectful, of course. But I don't see any problem with you trying to make the company better, make processes, etc., faster or better. So, but that does happen though sometimes. And so if it's a thing where they are telling you to train them, then that, people can feel salty about that because they might want that manager job instead. And okay, so I'm qualified to train the new boss, but I'm not the new manager or whatever. But I'm not qualified to be the manager. What you talking about, ownership? That kind of thing. So that just has to be a thing that's up to you. And sometimes you might even have to get another job at somewhere else instead if it's that bad of a situation. So, we're talking about principles here. And so you would, of course, make sure the higher up in the baby steps you are, the easier it would be probably to move on to another job, even one that makes maybe a little bit less money, in order to do that. But of course, try to work it out if you can. But sometimes that just happens. That just happens. And sometimes they have dumb policies. I work somewhere where a person off the street that doesn't know anything about this particular business can just walk in there and get hired. If somebody's already working there, they have to be working there a year before they're eligible. And so that's dumb as crap. Because even if the person that's already employed by the company was working there a month, they might be more qualified. Because sure, you might not have management experience or anything like that. So there might be a few things that you might need to be trained in, but you were going to be trained. So why can't they train you to do management stuff when you know about the business? But as far as like managing people and stuff, writing schedules and so forth, that training would be a shorter amount of time than training a brand new person that's coming in cold off the street. All right. But that would be, that's going to be up to you. You're the one that has to stay there and do that. And I don't know, they didn't make it clear which way it is. If it's that he just wants to help out, that he knows a better way to do it. And it might not be a better way. This person might just think that it's a better way to do something. But you can always tell your boss that. And of course, you never know. They could be, if they start doing it that way and it works, then they could take the credit for it with the ownership or upper management. So that's just the way it goes. But but all those are decisions that are up to you, not us. We don't have to work there. We don't have to deal with that person. So that's going to really be up to you. But that's some of the things that can be involved with it. Retirement account questions. This is from Renaissance Man 12608. All right. Trying to stay over here. Make sure I'm in a good spot. Yeah, that's good enough. Not really centered, but it'll be all right. It'll be all right. It'll be all right. Question. When should I switch from post-tax Roth IRA to pre-tax traditional IRA for investments? Never. People are nutty, dude, with this. Anyway, so I'm trying to maximize yield and minimize tax implications. Right, you're trying to minimize tax implications. The best way you can minimize them is to not have taxes on the gains when you retire. That's going to make it better for your retirement because you'll be getting more money out of there, rather than trying to save money now by not paying taxes on the contributions. So it's much better to pay taxes now on the contributions and not have to later, which that's the whole deal behind the Roth IRA and Roth 401k. So, but a lot of financial bros will tell you, but your tax rate, you won't be working, so your tax rate will be lower. Big whoop. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. The contribution amount, say if you're in the market 30 or even 20 years, if you're only in the market for 20 years before you retire, your contributions are going to be this big, and the gains are going to be that big. What do you want to pay taxes on? Quit being dumb. Quit trying to out-math life. Stop. Let's see. I 32 men think I'm pretty well set up for retirement savings. Well, then why ask? I'm sorry. I'm in a mood. Got no meaningful debt. Like I said, sleep. Sleep is good to have. No meaningful debt. You're doing it wrong. You shouldn't be investing at all now. You should have investing paused. You're doing it wrong. So, coming on the Dave Ramsey subreddit, I'm doing everything wrong, but I still want to come on this subreddit and ask a question about my little thing that I'm concerned about. Where are we? Let's see. We'll be paid off in February. Okay, that part's great. 1,500. So let's wait on the freaking retirement stuff then. Well, I want to plan everything out about my life ahead of time. 1,500 emergency fund. You're doing it wrong. It should only be 1,000. Let me make sure Mr. Ramsey didn't. It's been a while since I've done a show. Not that long. Last week. Just a few days ago. Baby step 1, it says save $1,000. It doesn't say save $15, you idiot. And 3 months income saved. So that's a no. You're not supposed to have $1,000 and then 3 months worth of expenses. You have $1,000 only, and that's it max, while you have other debt. So you could pay it off faster than February if you weren't freaking doing it wrong. It's very simple to understand. Why are you messing it up? Because you're overthinking, just like you're doing with this tax stuff, with the Roth stuff. I have $70,000 in a Roth IRA, have an established pension, state employee, 6.9% pre-tax with 100% match. 100% match is fun. Congratulations. And make about $50,000 a year. I plan on maxing out my Roth another 2 to 3 years, then mainly investing in market ETFs. Well, you're a dumbass, because market ETFs, I guess if they're managed funds, that's fine. But if you're talking about index funds, you're an idiot, because you're going to be making less money overall. I can retire at age 55 with 75% of the pension benefit, but you can't take any money out of the retirement account until you're 59 and a half, dude. Learn the rules. My goodness, you don't know anything. Oh, with 75% of the pension benefit and plan on it. Okay, okay, my bad. That's my bad. I'll give you a break on that one. You're an idiot about everything else, though. And plan on living on the retirement, on the investment dividends from those stocks until 59 and a half. Okay, all right. Okay. But no, I wouldn't change that because it's more money for you overall. It's a net more positive to not pay the taxes on all the gains than on the contributions. But people don't ever want to do that. First of all, they want more money now. Now. And second, they're trying to be, they're trying to outthink it. But the answer is always going to be Roth. The Ramsey advice is Roth. And you should have a Roth 401k. If not, does he have a 401k? No, don't think so. So it's a Roth IRA. Okay. So you are limited in the amount you can put in there. But also you need to make sure you're doing 15% because, hey, guess what? The 100% match, that's fabulous, doesn't count towards Dave Ramsey's 15%. And this is 6.9%, doesn't count as 6.9. It counts as half of that, so it would be what, 3.45? Yeah, 3.45%, because it counts as half because it's a freaking pension, because pensions don't make as much as the market does. So understand you're trying to be smart, you're trying to overthink it, but in overthinking it, it never occurred to you, maybe I should learn more about all of these things, and you need to do that other than just watching a financial bro video. Okay, there's other things going on with the market other than the financial bro view of it, or TikTok, view of it. The average TikTok person. Of course, Mr. Ramsey's on the TikTok as well, spreading the good word. Whoops. This is Tebow Zach. Should I get a credit union loan to offload a car? It's not a law that it has to be from a credit union, but yeah, you would get a smaller loan to offload the car payment each month and go down in debt, reduce your debt. Because by taking the second loan to pay out the first loan, you'll still have debt, but it'll be a lower amount, and theoretically a way lower amount than keeping the car and paying it off. 2017 Mazda 3 that needs a new engine is honestly, I would have believed you if you didn't tell me that you're being honest. I would have believed you anyway. Again, like I always say, if you say to be honest or honestly, that's when I start to think, oh, why, maybe I shouldn't trust you. Honestly, pretty bad shape. All right. Well, how about it is in pretty bad shape. I owe $5,000 on it with payments of $325, interest of $20. Should I go to credit union and get a loan to pay off car? The 2017, $5K isn't that bad. And you're not going to move the needle that much. How much do you owe $5K on it? But if you could sell it, it needs a new engine. Okay, so that was the problem with it. Okay, yeah, so it doesn't, because I was thinking about keeping it maybe, because I got distracted by the low amount owed on it. and forgot about the need a new engine. No, so yes, you can do that. Sell it for what I can, yeah, even if it's for scrap, yep, and put that back towards that credit union loan. So yes, doesn't have to be from a credit union, but if that's your bank and you want to get it from them, go ahead. Just kills me paying $325 a month on a car that doesn't work. Indeed, and that should kill you anyway. You should feel that way about it anyway because it's freaking debt and you didn't just save up cash and pay for it. Don't have money to replace engine as I am on step 1. How much will it cost to replace the engine? And compare that cost to what it will cost for you to offload the car. Is it how much more than $5,000 is it gonna cost to do that? And I would compare and I would consider that, because if it gets the new engine in it, or used engine, whatever, as long as it works, then it might be fine and you might like the car. So that would be something to think about here. Another car. I'm on step 1. Another car. No period between sentences. Excellent. I have another car. I guess that's supposed to be. I own outright to use. Shout out cheap 3K cars. Thanks. Yeah. Why do you have that? Why do you have 2? Shouldn't have had 2 to begin with, but maybe this is your debt problem. And how you found Mr. Ramsey is possible. But yeah. So yeah, you don't need to replace the car because you already have a car to replace it with. But yeah, just to get out of it, yes. So for example, the $5,000 loan, and like I said, where it wouldn't really it might not make sense if it had a working engine, if it was still working and you were just tired of making the payments to get out of it, which would be the normal reason. People ask this question about whether they should get a loan to pay off a bigger loan to get out of a car that they're underwater on. But you shouldn't have had 2 anyway. But fortunately, you do have it now. That doesn't mean everybody should have a second car just in case this happens. Nobody's saying that. Especially while you have other debt. If you want to have an extra car around, that's going to be, my friend, that's going to be a baby step 4 thing for you to have an extra car. Finish baby step 2. Excellent. This is from Tree Girl 1. All right. Finish baby step 2. I just finished paying off $30,000 in credit card and car loans after 1 year following the plan. Excellent. 30,000 in 1 year. Excellent. I took up pet sitting as a pretty chill side gig. Yo. In January, I I changed companies for a $10,000 bump in annual pay. Excellent. Besides being very frugal, those 2 job changes made a big difference, of course. Hey, guess what happened? You worked more and you spent less. And that is the key to success. I have been 10,000 to 40,000 in debt for the last 40 years. Okay, so it's not a spring chicken we're talking about here. But of course, it's never, if you're breathing, it's not too late to improve your finances. This is a new beginning. I do not have a house or family, and I'm 58. Okay, the rare older than me person on here. Ready for baby steps 3 and then 4. Yep. Yay. Woohoo. Excellent. Debt-free flair right there. Fabulous. What in the world is that? That is Valending Man. Lost my job and trying to find the best path forward. That would be with a new job. You should start looking immediately. If you cannot get a job that you're like your previous level of job, whatever you think that is, then maybe for a while you need to get a job that you think you're better than, such as fast food or retail or something like that, while you continue to look for a job worthy of yourself. Let me make sure the audio is still going. Yes, it is. Just the headphones are supposed to have 50-hour battery life, but I didn't charge it. I just got it today, and so we're going on the factory charge. So cool. But I think this was sounding better than the other mic that I had. Oh, because it's closer to my mouth, probably. Are we? Oh, I didn't start. I lost my remote job and likely will not find another, as the remote landscape has been insane to get back into. I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm gonna call you bullcrap on that, because there are still remote jobs. Okay, they may have gotten harder to get. And of course, as more and more companies are like saying, all right, we're tired of this, you working at home and maybe doing two jobs full time, doing both of them at the same time. They don't want that to happen. And they want you back in the office, because guess what? Yeah, Pandy was a thing. Deal with it. It's life. I didn't even get it for like 3 years. And then somebody came to work with that had it apparently and gave it to me. Thanks. Has been insane to get back into, and my skills aren't translating into any other roles. What is it that you did remotely? And hey, guess what? You can do that at a business too. Whatever you were doing from home, you can do that at a business too. You're being nutty right now. Administered a very niche ERP in tech that no one uses. Oh. Hey, if nobody uses it, then of course you can't get a job in it anymore. If it's old technology, that kind of thing, yeah, you got to move on from that, babe. Yeah. I live in a rural area, and it's looking like I'm going to basically have to start my life over, only with debt. No, how? Did you get the debt after you lost your job because you didn't get another job fast because you didn't want to take one that was below you, that you thought you were too good for? I have a wife, 2 kids, and 3 pets. We really failed in paying down our debt over the last 3 years. Yeah, see, you're nutty. Why didn't you do that while you did have a job? You're an idiot. But understand our failures. And oh, great. Well, that's good. That's part 1 is, yeah, I did it wrong. And so once you say, oh, we understand our failures, then that means you know that you did it wrong, and then you know that you should stop doing the dumbass crap you were doing previously. So, and so you move on from that without doing the same stuff you've been doing, because Mr. Ramsey loves to say what is that? It's a saying. He didn't make it up, but it's what is it? Doing the same thing and expecting a different result is the definition of insanity. And you're nutty. You're insane. Understand our failures and are ready to move forward. Is my breakdown: assets and debt. What would Dave do? The numbers don't matter as much as you freaking getting a job and moving on with your life instead of grieving it or whatever you're doing. I don't know whatever you're doing here, but let's see. Cash on hand, $51,000. That would be a no. You would not have that if you have debt. Let's just check to make sure it didn't change in the last 5 minutes or so since I looked at it last. It says save $1,000. You don't have extra than that. All right, and I get you don't have a job, so temporarily, yeah, you should be just piling up cash, any cash that comes in. I don't know where it's coming from if you're not working though. So are you just living off that 51,000? And why did you go? What was the debt on? Was the debt in any part due to losing a job, or you already had it before? Sounds like they already had it before, since they said we didn't pay anything off it or much off in 3 years. So you doing it wrong. Yeah. Rollover IRA. Okay, that doesn't matter either. What? Yeah, none of that matters. Get another job. You need to figure out what you're going to do for work. And then when you get income coming in, because none of this gets fixed. No money problems that you have get fixed. You don't advance on the baby steps unless you make money, unless you have an income. It's so income dependent. Sorry, there's no magic Ramsey way to do it. You have to work and make money. Income 25. Oh, until January when unemployment runs out. Okay, it's been living off unemployment. That's dumbass stuff to do. Get a job. Wife's income 2,000, soon to be closer to 33 to 35. Okay, we don't count on that, but that's great. Once she goes full time, car one, $25,500 loan, about $4,500 underwater. Sell it. And this is more like the thing that you would do. This is just because this doesn't have a blown engine, or needs a new engine. It didn't say blue, but this doesn't need a new engine, but this is just a crazy amount of money to be financing for a vehicle. And of course, we don't want to finance anything. So yeah, $25,000, about $4,500 underwater. And hey, guess what? You don't even have to go to a credit union or anywhere else to get the $4,500. Guess what? You have that right here in the saving, in the cash on hand. So quit being dumb and sell the freaking car and buy a beater. Cash, which you also have there because you're doing it wrong. If you were doing it correctly, you would not have the extra $50,000 cash on hand. Of course, I don't know how long you've had that cash on hand. That may be just since you've been unemployed, but that's a lot of money to have on hand in a short time. So I'm thinking this is like they were always doing it wrong, and that's why they didn't pay off. They really failed in paying off the debt because you kept the freaking cash. So that's dumb. But car two, $14,500 loan. Sell it too. Get a cheap beater. For both of you. Both of you sell these cars, and then you don't have a car payment, and then that frees up so much money per month. And it lowers your debt. Student loans, $15,800. Again, you should not have more than $1,000 in savings. I get it. When you lose your job, yes, you just pile up cash. Medical debt, $1,500. And why? Why do you have that? Why did you get the debt on it and just paying it off since you have this money? Full monthly expenses. Okay, mortgage $1,970. I feel like for me, so wife brings home $2,000 a month. So depending on how much that, the mortgage payment is $2,000. That's the whole thing. So her whole thing goes to the mortgage. So that means in order to afford this house, And if it's on a 30-year loan, you can't afford it anyway, in no shape or form. And so you bought too much house. So you might have to move not only down in cars, but move down in house as well, because you're freaking doing it wrong to the nth degree here. Food, animals, diapers, wipes, 1,100 a month. How many kids? 2 kids and 3 pets. Yeah. All right. Let's do 4. That's probably not too bad when you include the diapers and wipes and stuff like that on the grocery bill, on the Walmart bill. I include like all cleaning, anything I buy at Walmart, I just include in the grocery because it's very easy to do it that way. Electricity, $234. Maybe you're living in too big of a house, or you guys just like it freezing in the summertime and you like it to be the sun in wintertime. Maybe you put on in the winter, maybe you put on a jacket. Like I'm a little chilly right now. I could get a blanket, or put on a jacket even, rather than turn up the thermostat so it's hotter in here. It's getting hot in here. Okay. Water, sewer rated, that's fine. Heat, 60. Okay, so got gas heat apparently. Okay. Seem to go up in winter. Like I said, if you use that like you were using the air conditioner, and I don't know where the person lives. Maybe it's Arizona or somewhere crazy that's really hot. Garbage is 15. Cars 529. Expensive to maintain. Bad on gas. Yeah, then why did you get it anyway? Because you were dumb. I financed a car when I was 16. Dad co-signed for me. He was dumb. I was dumb for participating in that, for sure. I was 16 though. That's my excuse. Ew. Okay. 298. So yeah. So if you get rid of these cars, that 720, like 720 something. Or 730 something. Gas 240. Stop driving places. Combine trips. Go to the grocery store after work if possible. That kind of thing. Don't do separate trips all the time for everything. Just try to find a way to not be hemorrhaging money. Car insurance 146. Okay. Student loans is on forbearance. Yeah, well, you don't have a job. I get it. Okay, get a job. That's still the main thing to do. Definitely fix all this stuff and quit being dumb, but also quit being dumb and get a job. Internet 85. Cell phone $117. Yep, probably got a name, big one of the big brands. Probably finance the phone as well. Buy your freaking phone for less than $200 off of Amazon, and yes, it'll be an Android probably. You do not need an iPhone. You do not need an iPhone, and you definitely do not need the newest model iPhone. Stop being dumb. So yeah, buy your phone for less than $200. I think my last 2, I think I got on Amazon. And for the cell phone plan, you do that with Mint Mobile or Visible, or I think there's a couple other discount phone things as well. And that takes that bad boy down to $15, $25 a month. Total income $4,500, hopefully closer to $5,500 once I find a job, because the unemployment will stop, and then so you're only going to make like $1,000 more than unemployment. I find a job. Total expenses 5018. Yeah, and so that's a deficit. And so yeah, sell the cars tomorrow and get a job tomorrow. You're doing it wrong. Wife has no credit. That's great. You don't need it. We recently got her a secured card to start building her credit up. You are doing everything incorrectly. And I have no job but good credit. I don't care. That is not going to help you. Borrowing money isn't the answer here. So financing is an issue right now. If it were to make sense, it never makes sense. You're not supposed to finance anything. You're doing it wrong. What are you doing on the Dave Ramsey subreddit? Are you not aware that he's the no debt guy? Financing is debt. So that was going to be a no, dog. I know a 401k withdrawal is the last option we want to take. Right, you don't do that. No, see, this is why people are such idiots. Thinking about a 401k withdrawal when he has $51,000 in cash. And see, I know you're thinking, oh, I need to keep that because I don't have a job. Get a job then, you idiot. Oh, people are nutty. Yep. So no, you don't do that. But if it can start us on a new path moving forward, it can, one with less retirement. So no, don't do that. That's so dumb. You continuing to do stuff that you think is a good idea does not seem to be a good idea to me. Because you're going to make your situation worse. I was thinking taking 30,000 net the first year so that income tax would be in a lower. The income tax is the last thing you need to be worried about. Idiot. Then 25K from savings and eliminating both car notes, student loans, and medical debt. First get a job, and then you do use this $50,000 that's past $1,000. Then you do use that. So get a freaking job and do that. And you leave the retirement alone. Another option is to take the hit on being underwater on the car. Yes, that's exactly what you do. And get an $8,000 to $10,000 cash car. No, you get a much cheaper than that cash car. You get one that will work. Definitely have your mechanic check it out and give the okay on buying it. But you do not need an $8,000 to $10,000 car. You're a dumbass. Then paying off car 2 and medical debt. This will leave us about 15 to 17,000 in savings. Are you supposed to have that when you have debt? No, you're not. You build that up later in baby step 3. You're doing it wrong. One more time in case you missed it. I got to check to see if the mic is working. It still is. Anyway, so why don't I let George tell you?
You're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong.
Yeah. Indeed. You're doing it wrong. Okay, back to the fun. What's my best path forward? To stop doing anything that you're thinking about doing other than the general idea to improve your finances. I assume that's something you want to do. Other than that, stop all your dumb crap because that's what got you into this problem. And get a freaking job. It's not that difficult. You just want to keep doing what your dumbass has done all this time, and you want to keep doing it. You're doing it wrong, starting with baby step 1. It says save $1,000. And again, I understand that piling up cash is what you should do for a job loss, but I feel like for me, you haven't been trying hard enough to get a job because you're looking to replace one with the one you had, and it looks like the one you have is outdated. As in the job no longer exists because the technology isn't good to use anymore because there's better technology now. Thick Natural 3171, focus on saving up for retirement or to buy a house. My name is Paul, and that's between y'all. You are the one that gets to make that decision. You do, of course, you don't do either of those as we consult the baby steps again. Make sure they haven't changed in the last 5 seconds since I had this up here. Nope, they're still the same. Imagine that. Same for maybe not 30 years on the baby steps, but close to that, I think. Mr. Ramsey certainly has been doing financial advice. I don't know that he had the baby steps right away, though. Because he started doing financial advice, and then people would ask him all the time, well, what do I do first? Because he didn't have a list of things to do. He just said, you need to be doing all these things, and didn't give the priority list. And so then he made the priority list, which is the baby steps. So I'm looking at the baby steps, and no, they have not changed. So investing for retirement, step 4. So that's way off if you have non-mortgage debt, because that's step 2, babe. Step 3, to save the full emergency fund. That's step 3. So again, you don't do that while you have the non-mortgage debt. While you have the non-mortgage debt, guess how much your savings is? $1,000. And no investing. If you are already investing when you discover Mr. Ramsey's fabulous financial advice, then you stop investing. See, a lot of people think that the final answer for all financial advice is the math, is the calculator. But the problem is there's no risk button on the calculator. And so Mr. Ramsey doesn't use only that. And probably mostly, because personal finance is a behavior problem, not a math problem most times. Almost always. So that's up to you. You can opt out of saving for retirement for up to 3 years to save a down payment faster. Oh, and buy a house, down payment would, of course, be not on this list, but it's step 3B, right in here, between 3 and 4. So, and the balance between 3B and 4 is completely up to you. Some people still do up to the match and then put every extra dollar other than that into down payment fund. But you can, again, to save up a larger down payment faster, you can not invest for 3 years. After that 3 years, though, Mr. Ramsey wants you back investing again. So if you live in a really, really high cost of living area, maybe you just need to move rather than dealing with that and trying to compensate for that. So that's the answer. Let's see if there's anything here in the question that changes that answer. Husband's 46 and I am 38. We live in a condo and are recently married. So the reason I often answer questions from just the title is that almost always you don't need their little details, because people's own individual, unique little situation doesn't change the baby steps. You're either on them and doing them exactly the way that they are written in order, steps 1, 2, and 3, one at a time without even thinking about higher steps. And if you have non-mortgage debt right now, this is thinking about higher steps. And then 4, 5, and 6 are done all at the same time. Obviously, you wouldn't be doing 4, 5, and 6 if you're doing you'd be doing 3B and 4 probably, because you don't have the mortgage yet. And maybe addressing kid college as well while you are trying to save up a down payment. And of course, that gets not so good to do everything all at the same time. That's why you got to set priorities. Live in a condo, recently married. I have become recently disabled with a progressive disease. That's not fun. Sorry to hear that. Prayers going out to you. And am trying to find things that I can still do with my disability. That's the right attitude to take. Absolutely. I started an e-commerce business, but it will be years before I make sustainable profits, and many businesses fail. Yeah, so if you're having to put money into it now to make it work years from now, that's a no. Your business now has to make money now. Otherwise, do something that makes money now instead. If I want to have any chance of success, I will have to reinvest the profits into buying some equipment. No, you can't do that kind of business then. You have to do something different. Otherwise, it's not sustainable long term. It's not sustainable short term either. You're doing it wrong. With my disability due to labor involved. And of course, I understand disabled, can't do a lot of things. You're jumping to something that is like, my own business. And so let's jump to that and let's throw common sense out the window while thinking, oh, well, this is not going to be sustainable profits until for years down the road. You don't have time to do that. Sorry, maybe later on, but you don't have time to do that now. So you need to do a business that you can run with hardly any expenses, no cash outlay on your part, and you need to be drawing an income with it, not just reinvesting all the stuff there into the business. With my disability due to the labor involved. Well, then that's not the business for you. I'm so sorry about that, but that's not the business for you. Me and my husband, that would be my husband and I, live in a high cost of living area. Move. As I was just saying, move out of there then. If you cannot make enough money to live in that high cost of living area, then you need to bounce from it. I'm so sorry about that. There's no magic solution for you. And you stay here until my husband is of retirement age to collect his pension. No, you don't need to. No, you don't need to. See, here's your problem. And this is a lot of people's problem. They misuse the word need. The word need is very overused in the Ramsey verse, people that call, etc., people that post on here. He does not need to stay here to get that pension. I mean, maybe he does need to stay there to get the pension, but that would not be a good enough reason to stay there. So you continue not being sustainable and going more into debt or whatever in order to stay there just to get the pension. No thanks. Need to come up with a better plan than that. But yeah, you're letting things limit your choices. You're painting yourself into a corner because you are thinking things that are just not true. You are jumping to this business. Is this the first thing you thought about to do? This kind of business? And you should not have done that. That was dumb because it requires reinvestment, a lot of reinvestment back into the business instead of you getting an income. So what good is it then? It's supposed to give you income is what you need. Especially, guess what? You said you live in a high cost of living area. You can't do that. People are nutty, man. I mean, I get it. You've been dealt a bad hand with being disabled, sure. But you need to find something else you can do that doesn't require you reinvesting most of the money back into the business, and that involves you taking most of the money home. So change. And if it's too high cost of a living area that you live in, change. I don't give a crap about the pension. Okay? Pensions suck anyway compared to the market. So hopefully husband has a retirement account too. Roth IRA is what it's called, personal account, or at work Roth 401k. Even a regular 401k is going to do way better than this pension does. I have not any debt, great, but recently worked to get my husband what? Debt-free, says baby step 3, okay. And in baby step 3, you're not putting all of your income back into a business. You're not doing that. You're doing baby step 3 is where the majority of your money should be going, or at least the extra anyway. And you cut down the expenses, which you live in a high cost of living area, so that might not be Oh my goodness gracious me. That's way too much stuff. What do you say? Until my, nope. Where is it? But recently worked to get my husband out of debt this year. Okay. If you do you guys not have combined finances, because that's doing it wrong. And so if you spent some of your money to get him out of debt, that was dumb as well, because it should be combined and it should be our money, etc., etc., etc. I hope to pay down a $30,000 home equity loan for a kitchen renovation. You shouldn't have done that. That was not an emergency, right? So that should not have been done at all, especially if you were already disabled at that point. My husband said he is on board to never take out any more debt unless it's an absolute emergency. Right. Well, you guys apparently thought that the renovation was an emergency. So your emergency definition is incorrect then. And despite having great health insurance, and I had to spend $60,000 out of cost for the health expenses, out of pocket health expenses for my condition, I have no family help. Okay. All right. And again, the main problem you're having right now is you're jumping to, and I understand it, again, because of the disability, you're looking for something, you're looking way down the road for when it will be equitable. Maybe, like you said, most businesses fail, so don't count on that. That's why you can't do that, especially at this time. You need to do a side business or open your own business that you get to keep all the money. So this would be something involving just manual labor by yourself, or who knows, you could be an at-home receptionist or something like that, and not some kind of labor business where you have to pay somebody else to do the labor. That's a dumbass idea for a business for a disabled person, because then you're relying on the other people. You're relying on other people and paying the other people to do that. So basically, main problems is high cost of living area, not high cost of living money coming in. And also, you don't know what the word need means. So again, he does not need to stay there. You just want him to so he can get his pension, because he's in love with the pension. And again, if you do the market right, if you find the good managed mutual funds, they can beat the pension quite handily, most pensions. That's why, of course, the pension contribution counts only as half towards Mr. Ramsey's 15% that you should be investing. And you shouldn't be doing any investing right now while you guys have other debt. Boom, boom, boom. Ram Kuma 1, Rank Uma 1. How do you find a trusted broker to invest in mutual funds? How do you find a trusted broker to invest in mutual funds? Okay, you don't need to repeat it. You could just say title, and then I would get it. Okay, so you see this right here, what I'm on a browser right here, and you know what the browser accesses? The browser accesses a thing called the internet, and you can go there. Where are we? That's the market. We don't need to market right now. That's what I wanted. So you can open up a browser there, and up here you type in what you want to learn about and what you have questions about, and it will tell you. So, and if you want a trusted person, say, oh, I don't know, maybe you go to youtube.com/coachstevemoney, of course, for my content. But I don't have like a separate video with investing stuff. I guess I should do videos like that. I was going to do different videos for all the baby steps, but I haven't done that yet. So you could go to Ramsey solutions.com, that website, and do a search on that for anything you had a question about. You can also, up on YouTube, you can type in Dave Ramsey, investing, and watch every single video about it. And if he says anything you don't understand while explaining something else, that means you gotta look that up too. So, but you can teach yourself. All of the information is on the internets. The internets is full of the information. And of course, you can always get a SmartVestor Pro referral from the Ramsey Solutions website as well. But it's not that difficult to understand. People just, I guess they think about the money involved and stuff like that, and they think they can't handle it for some reason. Or they just don't want to put in the time, and they're lazy. Just like the people that just settle for the S&P 500 index fund, when instead they could be having managed mutual funds that make more than the index. Leaving money on the table because you're being lazy. Alrighty. How do you figure out which bills to pay when? I have a full-time job and a part-time job. So right now I'm getting 4 paychecks a month. Excellent. And my pay days don't usually line up. My bills only total around $900. I'm saving a large percentage of the rest of my paychecks on a down payment. Well, okay. So you would not be doing that, right? Right? Let's check the baby steps again. You would not be saving for a down payment because that's step 3B. Until steps 2 and 3 were done. So that means you have no debt at all, other than the mortgage, and you don't have a mortgage yet because you're saving for a down payment now. And you have the full emergency fund. And it says 3 to 6 months. I would recommend 6 months if you're thinking about buying a house, and you have that in place even before you start saving anything towards the down payment, and you keep it at that level. At no point is buying a house an emergency. So you never take money out of the emergency fund to add to your down payment fund. And I know people do it because people are nutty. I don't know. That's the main theme with the Ramsey advice here. People just do nutty things. Even when supposedly they're on board with the Ramsey advice, and they still do dumb stuff that they say they need to do. And you don't need to do it. You just chose to do it. Like that remodel that was not an emergency. Where are we? I'm struggling to figure out if I should be paying all of my bills out of one paycheck or my main job's pay checks, which I can do, or should I split my bills up throughout the month? Is that everyone's goal, to pay everything as soon as possible and then save the other 2.5 to 3 other paychecks? No, because not everyone's saving for a down payment. I know, I understand that's your focus right now. And so that's what you're thinking about. So for you, in your little situation of being on step 3B, you would do what everybody else does on 3B, is you pay your expenses. You can choose to not invest while you're saving up a larger down payment faster for 3 years. That's up to you if you want to do that or not, or you can continue investing. Or if you haven't started, you can wait to start for 3 years while you do that down payment savings. But as far as I don't know why people get hung up on this stuff, on the how do I figure out which bills to pay when. Okay, so you got your paycheck and it goes into your checking account, right? Okay, and you said you got a full-time job and you get 4 paychecks a month. Okay, so, and probably sometimes it's 5, right? Yeah. So trying to have it be all from one job, that's great, but why bother with that? Why bother with that? It only matters if you have enough in there to pay off every bill that's used. I mean, every bill that's due, excuse me. So you can pay, your mortgage or rent. Doesn't have a mortgage, so rent probably. Gas, power, um, gas for cars, etc. Whatever your expenses are, so you can do all that, and then just like when you're, if you were, it's good to talk to these people. What do you mean, these people? It's good to talk to people like that are thinking things like this, because it's good to talk to them like in this situation, right? Like right after theoretically they would have been doing step 2. It's like, okay, you remember how you did it in step 2? What was different? You paid off your bills. You got them paid somehow, right? You weren't late or anything, so you got them paid somehow. So apparently that was working. And then you sent everything extra to the debt in step 2, and then to the full emergency fund in step 3. And now that you're done with step 3, you're trying to save the down payment. So you do the exact same thing. And now you send the extra to the down payment. Yeah, your down payment savings. And so I don't know what is, making that. How is that different now that you're trying to save for a down payment? Is it only because you started thinking about this crap about, oh, well, my expenses should be all of this? Don't get out of that. Get out of that. That doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be. You just have to have enough in the checking account in order to get you from paycheck to paycheck. Meaning basically you don't pay off, you don't pay some of your expenses and like utility bills and stuff like that. You don't pay them, plus also spend extra money elsewhere. Because you still have to make sure before you spend other money, rather, that you can make it till the next paycheck. So if you have another bill or another expense coming up before that next paycheck, then you can't send that amount to whatever baby step you're on. In this case, step 3B. You would have to keep money in the account to pay that bill. Now, and some people are crazy. If it's in the account too long, they will think they can spend it. If it's in the account too long, they will want to spend it. Some will say they need to spend it when they don't need to. But I don't know what makes it different than like another steps. I mean, if you've never had debt, if this is your first baby step that you're doing, congratulations, because that means you already had enough for a full emergency fund and you didn't have any debt. So congratulations on that. But if you had done that, it is done the exact same way. People, of course, especially when they start thinking on a my little situation is different and it's unique and all that, when they start thinking on that kind of level, they start getting into stuff like that. And of course, when it goes into their head that, oh, should all my expenses come out of one paycheck? It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I mean, it would be great as far as the amount of the expenses being low, that happens. Great, but it's not necessary to happen. And if it wasn't necessary for you to know that and do that from, the time until now, like I said, if you were doing other baby steps, you've already know the answer to this question. You do it the exact same way. So people just get in their head and they overthink things, and something gets in their head and it just gets stuck in there, and that becomes the main purpose. Like this thing about one paycheck thing, that is this person's focus right now, not making finances better, not saving the down payment. I mean, saving down payment is probably what led to this thing, but this thing is the focus, the paying it out of one. It doesn't matter. It can happen. If it happens, great. If it's enough, if your main job or one paycheck will pay for all of them, great then. What's the question for then? It's not required to do that though. People are nutty. That was Roman Empire 7199. All right. And you know what happened? You saw what happened to them eventually. Grasshopper Pool. Grasshopper Pool. Is that like Deadpool? 30-year mortgage versus renting. Renting. Has to be a 15-year mortgage. Otherwise, you're buying too much house. I know Dave says, I love these. I love these. We get these on every single show that I do. In the subreddit or even sometimes in the Facebook group as well, that actually Ramsey Solutions runs. They don't run this Dave Ramsey subreddit. This is run by fans. 30-year mortgage versus renting. I know Dave says to never do more than 15. See, that's where, again, you put a period right there after 15 and you just shut up and you do that crap and stop trying to improve his advice. Or you just do whatever the crap you want to do and leave Mr. Ramsey out of it. You're not interested in his advice, that's fine. I'm not forcing this advice on anybody. I certainly believe that it is the best thing for everybody to be doing, though. So I know Dave says to never do more than 15. Well, he's smarter than you about money, so shut up and just do what he says to do. Or do your dumbass crap. You don't have to have it explained to you. You can just do your dumbass crap. But what if that leaves you with only those options? What do you mean? Oh, with 30, then you rent. Sorry. That's your fault. That's not Dave's fault. It's not his fault that your life isn't in a situation where you have to get 30-year mortgage. Example, high cost of living area. You might have to move. Sorry. Just because you're born somewhere and you have all your family there, that doesn't mean you will automatically make enough money to continue living there. Sorry. That's not how life works. Maybe the answer is income problem. Yes. Oh, in quotes. So this person's being away about it. He's feeling a kind of way. An income problem. Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is. If you have to get a 30-year mortgage to make a house purchase happen, then you cannot afford the house. And the way to afford the house is to make more money or to save for a down payment longer. But that means more and more people are having income problems. Yeah, they are. Because they choose to stay in high cost of living areas when they don't make high cost of living money. What makes you think that's going to work? You have to have that high cost of living income. What did you think? Again, just because you're born there, you don't get a pass on the math. If it really is down to those options, why is renting better than a long mortgage? Because it keeps you from being poor and buying too much house, you idiot. People are so nutty. I want it now. I want it now. I know you do. I got a great idea. Make more money or move to where your income makes sense. Midwest would probably love to have you. There's some pockets in the Midwest that are high cost of living as well. But you can find a lot of $100,000 houses. Okay? And how much is yours that you're thinking about? See, that puts you in too much debt. See, and you're not thinking about the big picture either, where guess what? It's not over when you buy a house. It's not over when you buy a house. Okay? So imagine this situation, and people do this as well, I'm sure. They do, steps 1, 2, and 3. So they paid off all non-mortgage debt. Great. and they got their full emergency fund, great. And now they're working on down payment. And now you want to subvert the plan and get a 30-year mortgage. That would be the same thing as if in baby step 2, you didn't follow the advice here and you like took 3 months off and spent money instead of on dumb stuff instead of putting it towards debt. So you derailed your progress on step 2 when you've done that. When you buy a 30-year mortgage, a house with a 30-year mortgage, you're buying too much house. And guess what? The baby steps don't end with step 3B, saving the down payment, because you also have to be investing after that. In addition to making the house payment, you have to invest. Save for kid college if you are going to help them, and if you have the kids, of course. And then you pay off the house early. Yeah, not only do you have to make that mortgage payment for the house that you bought with the down payment, or you put down on it and you got a mortgage for that. Not only do you have to pay the mortgage, you have to be putting extra on it to pay it off early. So you have other baby steps to do even after you are done with the down payment and buy the house. And so if you get a 30, guess what that's going to do? You are not going to believe what that's going to do to steps 4, 5, and 6. That's going to make those take a lot longer too. And Mr. Ramsey wants you to be in step 7 faster than that. So again, you get to do whatever dumb crap you want to do. And so, you're whining. Quit being a whiny baby just because somebody else was born with richy parents or whatever, and they get to stay there. Or they were smart enough to do something for a job that gets them more money enough to live there, and you're not. So there's nobody's fault except your own. And it's not even a problem. It's just you might not be able to live there. Sorry. You don't get to do everything. Oh, and they locked it. 133. Because you'll get the people that give the Ramsey advice, and you'll get the people that say, oh, no, you can do what you want. If you can do what you want, why are you on the Dave Ramsey subreddit? Just do what you want then. And I don't begrudge anybody of doing it. I'll say it's dumb as crap to be doing stuff like 30-year mortgages. I'll say it's dumb as crap to finance cars and stuff like that, which I do think it is. But if somebody really wants to do it, I don't have to live with them. I don't have to give them money to put towards that. I don't have to do that. So I'm fine with you doing that if you want. Ramsey show after show tomorrow. I think most days this week. As I said, I think every day since Thursday. We'll find out in a minute when we check the plugs. But what are the things we'll be talking about? $330,000. What's the best investment strategy at 55? Looking to retire at 60. So you got a 5-year window is like the bare minimum for doing something like this. If it's going into retirement, a retirement account, then that's fine. But the idea is not really lump sum investing. It's 15% of your gross income comes out of every paycheck. Now you can do like catch up kind of thing. Maybe this is what this is. And so we'll read this and find out exactly what the question is, but that's the main tenet of it, I believe. Take out Roth contribution for debt. No, you can take out contributions, not gains, but contributions without penalty. But you should not do it. Once you say, I'm going to put the money, and maybe you didn't understand that when you first put it in, but that's how it works. You decide, hey, I am putting this money in, and this is going to be for my retirement and nothing else. Even if it's the easiest way to take care of it, because that is the easiest way to take care of it, but it's going to end up costing a penalty in dollars. And that's not really stupid tax. you shouldn't have been, if you had non-mortgage debt, you shouldn't have been investing anyway. So you were doing it wrong. And so you don't want to continue to do it wrong and make it worse by Xing out your retirement. Now, anything that's not in a retirement account, so if in a brokerage account, any extra savings or something, like, I don't know, like the other person, if you have $51,000, and that is strangely specific, isn't it? Because it's like it's the $1,000. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. Maybe it's the $1,000 emergency fund plus an extra 50,000. And so people get stuff in their mind and they just hold on for bare life with it, even no matter how dumb it is. But that would be the answer for that. You don't ever tap retirement until retirement. Same thing with equity. You don't ever tap equity until you sell the freaking house. No HELOCs. Context outside of the U.S. Everything in Dave's material is speaking to the U.S. market. It's not. The advice is, let's find something you can't do in another country. You can convert, for example, we'll use England for this. And you can convert the $1,000. And I don't care that much about it. You can do 1,000 bloody quid, British pounds, love. Or you can do whatever the exchange rate is from $1,000 USD. You can save whatever that is as your starter emergency fund in England. Guess what? So you can do that one. Pay off all debt except the house using the debt snowball. You can do that one as well. Okay, and that includes student loans. I don't care if you can pay them for 30 years. The advice is to pay it off. You signed for it. You should pay it off. And so if that's what you mean you can't do, yes, you can. You just don't want to. So everybody wants something tailored to them. I mean, you got people. There's this one lady on the Ramsey show chat that keeps saying forever, you need to have a special hour, special advice for older single people or for disabled people or something like that. It's not any different. It's the same thing. Going to be harder for a disabled person to do the baby steps probably, but it's the same advice. It's the same advice for an 18-year-old kid just fresh out of high school or a 80-year-old person. It's the same advice. The baby steps will be exactly the same. It would still be investing, but instead of, at 80, maybe not investing, but you should be saving up money to take you however long you're going to live. May I make it to 80? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we'll read exactly what their little situation is, but I was going to go through and show the whole thing. I guess I could save it, but I'll give a quick thing. So saving full emergency fund, you can do that in another country. Investing, you can do that in another country. They don't have a 401k over there. They have other names for retirement accounts. That's fine. Why is that you think that it doesn't apply to you? Say for kid college fund, so you can, help them with college. Why can't you do that? That's just saving money. You can do that. And you pay out the house early. Yeah, you can do that too. Some countries you might not be able to get a 15-year mortgage. Okay. You would get the lowest amount of mortgage you can and pay it off early then. And build wealth and give, you can do that in any country. So you're full of crap, basically, is the answer to that question. And we'll look at a couple more. Investing for wealth. Yes, that's what you're supposed to do. On baby step 7, that is to build wealth and give. The wealth before that is actually going to your retirement, saving for kid college, and paying off the house early. Should we sell our house? Most of the times when people ask, the answer is no. I mean, yes, because they wouldn't even ask unless they thought they needed to. So there's got to be some problem with the house most of the time. Every once in a while, it's like, you can keep the house if you want to. And that's why we got to know each individual person's little situation here. And that's not like how they feel about things, or if they live in a high cost of living area or anything. That doesn't have anything to do with that. What should we sell our house comes down to the numbers alone. So that's all that matters with that. And if it's a toss up, then you get to decide. If the numbers say, well, you can, but if you move down and out, obviously your finances get better faster. I feel so lost trying to get better with spending, but seems like I can't. Well, if you can't be an adult and make yourself not spend money on dumb crap that you don't need, then you need counseling. You need mental help of some kind if you cannot be an adult. That's no different than people who drink too much. You're spending too much. Same thing. If you can't, as an adult, make yourself do that, then you need counseling. Selling stocks for house renovation, that's fine. And you should have already done that already to apply to whatever baby step you're on, because Mr. Ramsey doesn't advise single stocks. And the only exception would be you would not do that if it was in a retirement account. See, it's so easy. The Ramsey advice is so easy. Retirement account, no. Any other savings or brokerage account, yes, you get rid of those. You liquidate them and apply them to whatever baby step you're on. And single stocks always, never advised. So always recommended to cash those out if they're not in a retirement account. Need some advice on getting rid of a truck? Well, you do what the person earlier was going to do. You take out a loan for the difference if you're underwater, and you sell it to somebody, and you put, if it's underwater, you take what they give you and then add the small loan amount to that, and then pay off the truck, and that gets rid of the larger, much larger truck debt. Alrighty. Well, that'll do it for a good look ahead. Once more, I'm Coach Steve Money. I'm a Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach. And if you are having money problems, or you're just being a dumbass, or you use the word need too much, you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation assessment with me by emailing coachstevemoney@gmail.com. You can also use that same email address for any questions you have, any financial questions, or anything about my YouTube channel. That same email address, coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Donations can go to paypal.me/coachstevemoney. Alternatively, the Cash App at $CoachSteveMoney. It was not taken somehow. Walmart gift card to coachstevemoney@gmail.com. And the upcoming streams, as always, subject to change, but I'm really going to try to make all this happen. Let's see what is up here. The Ramsey Show After Show, 11:05 a.m. Eastern. Oh, Monday through Wednesday, November 17th through 19th. Oh, 19th. Yeah. 17th through 19th. Oh, yeah, that's Monday through Wednesday. And Friday the 20th is a maybe. So Thursday is not going to happen. Answering your financial questions streams, 8 p.m. Eastern. Every Saturday and or Sunday. And that's, again, 8 p.m. Eastern. And sorry, I've completely spaced on it. My sleep saga has been interesting. Went to bed late one night, and fortunately this doesn't happen a lot. Had to get up the next morning at 5:45, bed at 11, woke up at 4:30, and then ended up getting a 2-hour nap on Saturday, but otherwise I was up for 24 hours other than that, over 24 hours other than that 2-hour nap. And trust me, I was thinking of like some of these people were, and being nutty, because you can tell, you start to get, it's like, oh, so this is what dementia is going to be like. It's like where you don't even have, where like cognitive things don't even happen correctly. Because it's like, oh, I need another nap. So I got a little bit of a nap earlier. I'm going to try to go to bed earlier tonight because got to get up for the Ramsey Show after show. Watch the Ramsey Show on YouTube, the newest one, which was recorded Friday afternoon, and that will be on tomorrow morning, Monday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. And then when that's over at 11:05 a.m. Eastern Time, I will be doing the Ramsey Show after show. Alrighty, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment. Much appreciated if you have already done that or for getting ready to do that now. And as always, make smart financial decisions every day. No days off.